Hello, today we are looking at the Purchase Command Center for Day 4. This follows on from yesterday when we looked at the Sales Command Center. The Purchase Command Center is a mirror image of the Sales Command Center. And in this section we process purchases on an accruals basis and apply them to trade creditors. In this today we're going to look at accounts payable, we're going to look at remittance advices, and we'll look at linked accounts, invoice types and layouts, the purchase register and the transaction journal. So some businesses will not probably use the purchases area if they are small and they're just using business basics. You don't have this option of the Purchase Command Center. And if you just have simple purchases, you may simply go through banking, spend money, and avoid the purchases area altogether. So today we're going to look at initially, following the book, page 126, I'm looking at my purchase linked accounts. Click on Setup, Linked Accounts, Purchase Accounts, Setup, Linked Account, Purchase Accounts. And we have here the very top, liability account for tracking payables is mapped to 2-1000 trade creditors. So this is my accounts payable account. It sits in my liabilities and it's the amount of money the business owes. So as soon as a purchase is recognized, that amount hits trade creditors. As soon as the purchase is paid, the bank account for paying the bill comes out of this ANZ 1000 bank account. Now, with the purchases, the other things to look out for are let me grab my pen, I can receive items without a supplier bill. So if I am an inventory-based business, I can receive the items without the proper bill and I can actually then go on and sell them. That gives me the opportunity to do that. I have the opportunity to pay freight on purchases. That's quite straightforward, so that would just be linked to a freight expense. I have the opportunity to track deposits paid to suppliers. And remember, the mirror image of that was I can track payments made to customers. Now check with your accountant how he wants you to deal with this. Some accountants like you to rigidly use both of these accounts. Some prefer you to just use a single account and have both the deposits paid and received mapping into the one account, and some are happy for you not to use them and just do a manual adjustment at the end of the financial year. I prefer that option because it can get quite fiddly in MYOB if you do tick this, because correcting it if there has actually been an error is very, very tricky and time consuming. I think it took me about 90 minutes to fix one single error up once. Going down further, we have the I take discounts for early payments, and that has been linked to 9-2000 discount for early payment. Now you know how to create accounts now. So what you can do is click OK, go into accounts, create the account, and then come back here, click on the drop down arrow and select it. Or you can click on the drop down arrow and click new and add the account here. It will be 9-2000, discount for early payment, and the tax code will be GST. I'm just going to cancel out of that. I choose the tax code GST because the discount for early payment is against something that has GST on it, so any reduction in it should also have a GST reduction associated with it. Then we have I pay charges for late payment. The expense account is listed there. I actually don't see many people use this, but if you want to use that, that gives you your option there to use it. And now I'm going to click OK on that, and we'll move, I'm going to pop back in, I missed one thing, Setup, Linked Accounts, Purchase Accounts, and up the top here I want to look at terms. So click on your terms, and these are the default supplier terms for the business. So whenever you create a new supplier, these are the default terms that supplier will have, and we have selected here in a given number of days. So choose the drop down arrow and select in a given number of days, and change the options. You've got discount days here, balance due date, so it's due within 30 days. If you want to offer a discount, you can offer a percentage discount here. And this is if it's a GST business allocated to GST here. Okay, and you can also, if you want to, apply a credit limit to your suppliers. This is a good idea. Saves with your cash flow monitoring. You can put in maybe 1,000 credit limit and they'll all have that applied to them. Of course, you can override it, but at least that will alert you to the fact that you're hitting a credit limit with that actual supplier. Click on OK, and we come back to the Purchase Linked Accounts window. Click on OK, and now what I want to do is go in and look at the different types of purchases. So pop into the middle of the flowchart here and select Enter Purchase. And this is my purchase window has opened up, and I want to highlight to you I have on the top left-hand side 3 different purchase types available to me. Can you see that? Quote, order and bill. And you'll remember when we looked at sales, it was the same quote, order and invoice. Now I want to do something. I'm going to click on layout here, and I'm actually going to select the item layout and click OK. And if I pop back here, oh, it didn't work for me. Item layout. Have I selected item layout? Oh, okay. It's not worked for me, but it will typically give me that. So what we'll do is we'll go through and I'll show you the quote. So that's popped up and given me quote. So the quote is just simply a piece of paper in the system. It has no further impact on something, and it can be converted to a bill. Now it just took a little while to refresh there. The next one along is order, and the order does not create a transaction within MYOB. However, if you have the item layout like we've selected now, it will recognize that the stock is on order and allow it to be sold through sales. Then the third option is receive items, and this is like a gelato green color, isn't it? And this is what we talked about before. This will allow you to receive items even though you actually don't know the price. Remember, sometimes when you are in reception and you receive items, the price may not be on the delivery docket because they don't want the delivery drivers, I guess, to know how much it costs. And then your fourth option there is bill. So with sales, you don't get the receive items option, obviously. You then have bills, which is a blue color, and all of them convert up to being a bill. Then, while we've looked at the purchase type, we should also look at the layout. Popping up here and clicking on layout, we have 4 layouts available to us: service, item, professional, and miscellaneous. And if you recall, when we looked at the sales side, we also had time billing. So we don't have that time billing option. Service is a very general one. It's a standard all-purpose layout and can be used when other options are not appropriate. Item layout is when you're purchasing something from your items list, and it has a lot of detail there. Professional layout is similar to the service layout, except there's this additional column here. I know it looked like it was, but when you actually print it out, there's this additional column here, and you can put in date ranges there. So you can go, I did training on the 29th of October, and this is how much it was, and you can sort of put the full amount there. Finally, we have the miscellaneous. I probably discourage you using the miscellaneous one. The miscellaneous layout is used to record a purchase for which no printed form is needed, such as a bad debt. But I find as soon as someone uses it, they actually do need to print it out. So I tend to avoid that one. Clicking OK here. So we've looked at the purchase types and the purchase layouts. I'm going to click Cancel. And I'm going to pop up here and look at the purchase register. Clicking on the purchase register, and you see I have my tabs across the top. Now when you come and look at this for the first time, or when you're looking at it while you're working, make sure you've selected the correct date range, because I find that's frequently where people get mistaken. So look at that. I don't have data in here, but I've opened it up from 2010 to 2012. So if you can't find what you're looking for, make sure you have the correct date range opened up. Now, I want to highlight that as you click on the different tabs across the top here, the column headings will change, plus down here in this area, the features available to you will change as well. So all purchases doesn't have anything there. It does have status, that's a key one here. Then if I click on quotes, I have amount, and I have the amount of the quote here. I also have, if I had something here, the ability to click on the line and change it to order, change it to bill, or delete it. The next tab along is orders. And this gives me the option here, promised and received. So the actual date, the order I've promised it on, the date I've been promised it on, the date I've actually received it. And again, I have the option to change it to bill, receive items. I made that quite messy, sorry, it's a fallen down Santa Claus. Not a Santa Claus, a snowman. Receive items, change to bill, or pay to bill there. So I have orders there. If I click on open bills, I have the amount, totals down the bottom here, which is good, and just the sort of general information I need for pay open bills. I have the option here to pay the bill. Then I click here on the second last one. This is returns and debits. So if I return an item or I'm owed some money, this is where I would see it. And if I did have transactions sitting here, I could recognize and receive a refund, or I could apply a purchase. And I will highlight that if you're running a system, if you've inherited a system, you should have a clear section here, or you should be able to recognize and know what to do with everything here. If there's anything that needs dealing with or that's historically quite old, then speak to your accountant about getting it written off, okay? The section here, you should know what you're doing with, or it should just be sort of some recent transaction. Finally, we have closed bills here, and closed bills shows you down the right-hand side anything that's actually closed off here. I will also highlight with all of these options here, you can select all suppliers, or you can actually pick a particular supplier. So here we've got Andy's rental agency, and we could actually pick what particular thing for him. So that enables you to actually find information. We spend half our time putting it into MYOB and then the other half trying to find it, so that helps us to find it. Now, I'm going to close out of that. And I'm going to pop down here to Transaction Journal. Now, I don't have anything sitting here at the moment, but if you look at your manual page 132, you'll see the Transaction Journal window. And this is very much looks like a debit credit entry. And so you can see the actual split out of the entry, the transaction, where it's going to be trade creditors or GST or expense accounts, etc. Now, if you're into debits and credits and understand that, this is a really good area to review. If you're not into it and you just sort of work on the top level, don't stress too much. You should be able to work through MYOB and avoid this section. So I'm going to click Close there. And what I'd like to do is create a service quote. So I'm looking at page 133, and I'm coming here to Enter Purchase. And I am going to click and select Quote. Purchase type, I'm going to select Quote. And then I'm going to select the company Wicking Uniforms. Now I can type it in, hopefully it's there, yes. So I typed in a W and it popped up. If you have entered it but it didn't pop up, maybe you saved it as a customer. And if you did, you're going to either need to go in and change it or create a new one. Tab through, and that has come up. That has come up. The defaults are all set up and will all be filled out. However, you can override them. So you can see the ship to address is filled out and the terms are filled out, purchase number, and the date has auto popped up there. So the purchase number has been automatically generated. We're going to put in 01/11/2011 I'm going to put in, and then I'm going to change the terms. I'm going to click on the blue arrow and change the terms, and I'm going to choose payment is due day of the month after end of the month, which I've already got. Discount day is 7. Balance due day is 21. And discount for early payment is 5. It's 5% there. So 5% discount can be received if the payment is made within 7 days of the invoice date and the full payment is due within 21 days. And I'm going to click OK here. Now, wicking uniforms, we want this to be it came up initially as a service layout. See at the top here, it came up as a service layout, so that's fine. And we're going to come into the description column and type 6 times staff uniform tab through to 65300, tab through to $300, and the default tax code is GST there. The promise date field, click the promise date field and enter the date 10th of the 11th. So promise date's down here, and we're going to type in 10/11/2011 because we promised it on the 10th of November. And we're going to change the quote delivery status to already printed or sent. So it says quote delivery status and it's already printed or sent. Now I should mention my system is set up so the date is separated by decimals, but your system may be set up so your date is separated by forward slashes. Either way is completely fine. Now what I'm going to do at this stage is I'm going to go to the menu bar and click on Edit, Recap Transaction, and it's going to tell me there's no transaction to recap, and that's completely okay because it's a quote and it doesn't do anything to the system. So I'm going to click OK, and I am also going to pop down here just to do something else, and in fact I'm going to pop up here, pop up to the top left. If you're on an older system, it's actually down here in the bottom. Pop up here to the top left and click on Send To, and I'm going to pretend to send it to email, and it says the purchase you have entered will be recorded before it's emailed. That's okay, and I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to say no, I don't want to do that, and it actually has recorded that, and it's now going to try and email it. I don't want to email it, but I could put the email address, and if you're working on your system, you could just email it to yourself if you wanted. I'm going to click Cancel and leave all windows there. Now, I'm going to cancel out of that. I'm looking at page 135, and I'm going to create a purchase order now. So I'm in the Purchase Command Center, and I'm going to click on the Purchase Register button. Then down the bottom it says New Purchases. And it pops up and the new purchase window opens up. So what I now want to do is up here at the purchase type, I'm actually going to choose order. So I'm going to choose order and it changes to a butter yellow. And in the supplier field, I'm going to click on the drop down arrow. So here's the supplier field. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow, and in the name area, I'm going to type in Jackson Fitness Supplies. Oh, what am I going to do? And select the new button. So no, I'm coming down and I'm selecting the new button, and I'm going to notice how it's very important at this stage, make sure it says supplier here. Make sure it says supplier there. You always want to make sure you're saving to the right one. And at the moment it won't allow you to, it's not going to let me type. It won't allow you to change them if you've selected the wrong type. It probably will update at one stage in the future, but not yet. Fitness, Jackson Fitness Supplies, and then further on it wants you to go to the Buying Details tab, which is the second tab along, and choose the Layout Service. And in the expense account, choose 51210. And in the payment memo, choose yoga mats. Yoga mats. The shipping method, choose courier. Payment is due, cash on delivery. Where is that? Down here, we'll choose cash on delivery. The credit limit, we're going to give him $1,000 credit limit. The ABN, here's my ABN, 56565656565. And that, the spaces automatically came in there. I didn't put them in, they just automatically appeared. And I'm now going to click on the payment details tab, and the BSB number there is 454454. And the bank information is, let's pop down to that section, 4545454544. The bank account name is Jackson Fitness Supplies. And the statement text is Green Apple Gym. Now I cannot do anything other than capitalize it. It forces me to capitalize. And what this will do is means that I know that this is the bank details to pay this person, and this is the bank account name to actually pay this person. And I'm going to click on OK. I've created that new card, and you'll see the card hasn't popped up there. But if I start typing in, I typed in a J, it auto popped up. I tab through, and look at that. It's filled out. Terms have filled out, and the purchase order has automatically popped up there. So that's fantastic. And it's service layout there. So we're going to click on the date field. Here's the date field. Now I want you to go to your keyboard and press on the space bar. And if you press on the space bar, a little date calendar pops up. And if you choose 7th of November, that will be sensational. 7th of November 2011. Now we're in the invoice where purchase number came up automatically. We're going to go to the supplier invoice field and we'll fill out J111001. Fantastic. Tab through. We'll enter the details to bring up, we'll enter the details, right click to bring up a context sensitive menu, and insert header. So hover over this description area, right click and insert header, and we should enter yoga. Yes, I know I've spelt that wrong. It's for a trick that we're going to come up and do. Now the line appears to be, if we pop through it, the line appears to be greyed out. However, it will appear as black bold text when you print it out. On the next line, we've come down to the next line, we're going to go 50 times yoga mats blue, and blue, and we'll tab through, and the account number has automatically appeared for us, and we'll tab through again, and we're going to type in 400, and the tax number has automatically appeared. I'm going to tab through to the next row, and I'm going to type in 25 times, and here I'm just going to copy it from there. Copy, paste, and that is pink, P-I-N-K, pink, and I'm going to tab through, and this time I'm going to put in 200, and tab through to the fourth line. I'm now on the fourth line, and I'm going to right click over the fourth line, and down here I'm going to choose the option insert subtotal. Look at that, that's inserted a nice subtotal for me there of that grouping. Tabbing through to the next line, and I'm now going to put in 15 times kettlebells. Tab through, and the amount is 120. And we'll tab through again. and insert a subtotal. Oh, sorry. Insert, why is that not coming up for me? Insert subtotal. So I just fiddled with that a little bit and just moved it to the right area to get subtotal. Fantastic. So that subtotal has come up, so you can see 600 plus 120 gives me 720. The promise date down here is my promise date, and that's 12th of the 11th of the 2011. And we're going to click on the order delivery status, and that will be already printed or sent. Fantastic. Then click, what we're going to do is see down the bottom here, look, this, I'm just throwing this in just so you're aware of it. Down the bottom here you've got this option for spelling, so I'm just going to throw that in, click on spell, and it's going to highlight that we did in fact spell Matt's incorrectly, and we'll select the correct one and we'll change it. It doesn't like the way we spelled kettlebells, but in fact it is correct. It's just with a plural on the end, so we'll add it to the dictionary. And the spell check is complete. So you are aware now where the spelling does actually happen. What we'll now do, this is an order. This is an order with account numbers in it. It's a service. Notice up here, I don't know whether I've highlighted that. See up here right up the top? That's how I know what type of window it is if I don't recognize it. And I'm going to go to the menu bar, click on Edit, click on Recap Transaction. There is no transaction to recap, and that's exactly what I thought it was like, because it's an order and because it's not an item order, it's a service order, there's no transaction to recap. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click Record. And that's just taking a few minutes there to record. And what we'll do after this is we'll go through and we'll record a purchase order, another purchase order for Jackson Fitness Supplies. So what it's come up, you can see at the top here it said it's not responding. Sometimes this happens. So now I'm on page 138 and I'm recording another purchase from Jackson Fitness Supplies. So on 10th of November, Jackson Fitness Supplies confirmed an order. So let's put it in, Jackson Fitness Supplies. They confirmed an order for fit balls, dumbbells and yoga mats. So this was their previous order, but we don't want this order. So we're going to go cancel, because we're doing a new one. And this will be 10 fit balls at $12.50 each, and 40 dumbbells at $4 each, and 10 green yoga mats. So let's put in there times $12.50. It gives me $40 dumbbells at $4. Oops. That's $160. 10 green yoga mats. And that is, oh, that was at $8 and that's $80. So $8. Jackson has now offered a 5% discount if payment is made within 5 days of the invoice date. So if I click up here and on the terms, he is going to do, he wants payment in a given number of days, which is 14 days. However, he will give you, if you pay within 5 days, he'll give you a 5% discount. And it actually highlights down the bottom here, the discount expires on the 12th of the 11th, 2011, and the discount amount is $18.25. And in fact, I've not put the correct date in there, so I need to go in and put the correct date in there. So I'm going to click OK, and the correct date here should be 10th of the 11th, and so that will give us what we've got up here. So 15th of the 11th, 1825, 24th of the 11th is when it's actually due. Click OK. The purchase order number is J111002. Okay, and we will click record. Let's hope it records quicker this time. Football's not in the dictionary. We will add to the dictionary, add to the dictionary, and that all went through quickly. Then on the 12th of November, Wicking Uniforms confirmed an additional order for 2 staff uniforms at $50 each. Wicking supplier invoice number is W072. Fill in the information as you think best. So let's put in Wicking. So Wicking Uniforms, tab through. We have this, but it's not that, it's a new one. So I'm going to click on New Purchase, and it's an order, the 12th of November, so I'm going to put in the 12th there. The supplier invoice number is W072, and the description is 2 staff uniform, so 2 times staff uniform at $50, $50 each, and going to put in the account number there, and that comes through as $100. And I'm going to, what I could have done here was I could have gone insert header, and then I could have done insert, just insert subtitle if I wanted to, and I could have just gone, but it's up to you what you're doing. And I am going to click record on that. We'll say no there, and we'll click record. So now I'm going to cancel out of here, and I'm going to go to the Purchase Command Center. So I'm going to close out of here as well. I'm at my Purchase Command Center, and I'm going to click on the Purchase Register. You can see the entries that we've been entering in there. Click on the All Purchases tab, that's ticked, and click New Purchase at the bottom. So I'm popping down here, clicking on New Purchase, and the Purchase Bills window will open up. That's great. The screen should be blue. Well, it's not blue because we're in an order type. So if I click and I put it into bill, it will now be blue. So it came up as what it was previously. If it says quote or order, click and change to bill. Okay, so that gives you that option there. Now what I want you to do is to select Panda Cleaning Services. Panda, so I just typed in Panda, tab through, and you'll notice that when we did that, up here, if I give you the option and show you, up here it changed to New Professional. And what that means is this column is new. Oh, that was an awful circle I drew there, but that's an additional column there that we weren't seeing before. So enter the date as 1st of November. 1st of November, the purchase number is 5. The purchase invoice number is PO56. PO56, tab through, and tab through to the box detailing what was purchased. In the date column, put in 7th of the 10th, 2011. I'm putting 2011, and enter General Office Cleaning. cleaning, tab through, 67200. The amount is $150. We tab through, and it's automatically come up with GST. The professional layout is allowing us to include the date that it happened on. So we're going to replicate that. We're going to keep on going down. We're going to go 17th, 14th, and I'll just tab through. Oh, look, I didn't put it in. 21st. I'll just copy down from that. I'll just copy that. Copy, paste, 672, 150, paste, 672, 150, GST, and then the final amount here is the 28th. Brilliant. Paste, 672, 150. The total of the bill should be $600. If I tab through, you can see there it is $600. And I'm going to highlight the tax amount here is $54.55. And we will click record on that. Click on record, say no to that. Okay. Now on page 141, it wants us to add some additional information to the office stationery supplies card. So let's cancel here, close here, pop out to card file, pop to card list, and we want to look for the office stationery supplies card. So that's just here. Click on the zoom arrow, and it wants us to select the purchase layout service. So under buying details, select service, it's already selected. The expense account, it wants to be 61110 office stationery, which is selected. Shipping method, it wants to be courier, so I'm typing in there. Courier, fantastic. Payment, okay, we're going to override the payment terms and we're going to choose COD, which means cash on delivery. And up here, we are selecting credit limit. So what did we do? Service, 611 office stationery, courier, cash on delivery, credit limit $500. So we were selecting different options that we can put in here. And we're going to select OK. We're going to select close, and we're going to go back to the Purchase Command Center. Now we're going to click on Enter Purchase. And in the supplier field, here's our supplier field, we're going to type in Wicking Uniforms. So W, Wicking Uniforms, tab through, and what pops up is a list of orders. So these are previous orders we've created for Wicking Uniforms. And we're going to select Purchase Order 1 for $300. Can you see that? That's the very top one, Purchase Order 1 for $300. And we're going to click Use Purchase. It now appears on your screen and it's pink. At the bottom of the screen, select the bill button. So see down here, bill, click on the bill, and that changes it to blue. The quote converts to a bill and the screen background changes to blue. All the terms remain the same. Go to the menu bar and click Edit Recap Transaction. Edit, Recap, and you've got your transaction there. So look at that. What has happened is it's telling you the source is the purchase journal. The date is the 29th of October 2012. The memo is Purchase Wicking Uniforms, and that memo is from down here. Can you see that down there? You can override that and change it to what suits you. Credit. Trade creditors has been credited. So this is a liability account and the business now owes $300. Uniforms is a 6 account. That's an expense account. It now recognizes that it has an expense of $272.73, not $300, because part of it is GST based. And so we've got a 2 account GST paid, and that is recognizing that we have paid $27.27 in GST. We will tell the ATO that and we will collect that money back from them. So I'm going to click close there. And so what you're doing is noting that there was a real journal entry there. What else do we have to put in here? It looks like we also have to put in the supplier invoice number, so I'm going to pop that here, W060, and I'm going to click on record. And I'm going to click on no there. Fantastic. At the supplier field, enter Jackson Fitness Supplies and tab through. So what we're going to do is do another one. Oh, we pop through. We're going to click on enter purchases. We're going to type in Jackson, tab through. A list is going to open up, and we're going to select the quote for the supplier Jackson Fitness Supplies, the one dated 7th of November. So this very top one, dated 7th of November. Click Use Purchase. Up here, we're going to change the date to the 10th. We're going to go to the bottom and click on the bill button. Here's our bill button. Click on bill. So I'm changing it from an order to a bill, from yellow to blue. And then I'm going to click record. Now, when it comes to paying bills in MYOB, there are several ways you can pay bills. You can do it through the Pay Bills window over here. You can prepare electronic payments, or you could do it by printing checks, or you can do it via the to-do list on the command panel. It is important that purchases entered via the Purchase Command Center are paid through the Purchase Command Center and not separately via Spend Money in the Banking Command Center, which we looked at on day 2. The Pays Bills area records the payment directly against the orders and the bills, but does not record payments against quotes. So we're in the Purchase Command Center. We're going to click on the Pay Bills window, clicking on it here, and it opens up for us. And we're going to, at the top of the screen, select the account the money will be paid from. So you've got the drop-down option there, and you can select the account the money can be paid from. And we're going to, or we could have grouped it with electronic payments, but we're going to pay it from the bank account. In the supplier field, we'll be familiar with the supplier field now. We click on the drop-down arrow and you can see various people there. We're going to choose Wicking Uniforms, but if I select on it, you'll see Wicking Uniforms actually has an amount there, so we can see what the current balance is there. So I select that. Clicking on Wicking Uniforms, Pay Bill autofills with the supplier. So at the top right, you'll see the option to enter a check. So I can enter a check number there or a reference number. We'll leave the check number there as it's automatically been generated. We'll tab through to the date field and enter 15th of November, 15th of the 11th, 2011. And we'll tab through to the amount field. And we're actually going to enter 285. Now, if you're doing this and you didn't get 285 there, it may be because of a dating issue, because remember, I had a discount there and I'm paying it within the discount framework, but that amount there will only appear if you've got all the dates correct. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get it up there. So don't stress too much, but that's what's caused it. So you may want to go back in there, change the date to the 29th of the 10th, make sure the discount amount is all set up correctly, and then put in the 15th to the 11th, and the discount should appear correctly. So you've entered 285 here. You must enter 285 here as well, so you can apply it properly. What we'll do is you can go Control R or Recap Transaction. So I'm going to go Edit Recap Transaction, but see there it says Control R. If you go Control R, you will see what is actually happening here. Look how complicated this is. So what's happening, let me just grab a glass of water. What's happening is money is coming out of the bank account to reduce the trade creditors amount. The trade creditors was the amount we owed Wicking Uniforms. And then here we have, this is recognizing the $15. So it's actually recognizing that $15 and here reducing the $15 from trade creditors and allocating part of $15 to the discount for early payment, which is actually an expense account, and then part of it to GST paid. So we're recognizing that discount there. Quite complicated, hey? Clicking on close, fantastic. And that sorted that out. The remittance delivery advice status field will say to be printed. When you click record, a window will pop up advising you that payment will include one discount and will result in one debit memo. The debit for the discount amount will be applied against the originating bill, and that's okay. So we can print it now or print it later. So we're going to select print later and not print it out, but actually record what's happening. Fantastic. That's all recorded. So I'm going to cancel out of that, and I'm now looking at page 146, and I want to show you how you go about processing or paying a bills electronically. Go to the Purchase Command Center and click on your Purchase Register. Go to the Open Bills tab, and you'll see the line for Panda Cleaning Services, which is just up here. And then click on the Pay Bills button down here, bottom left-hand side, Pay Bills. And the Pay Bills window opens up, and you can see at the top left, select Group with Electronic Payments. So up here, I'm selecting Group with Electronic Payments. I'm selecting Group with Electronic Payments, and that will group it with electronic payments for me. The amount applied is $600, so that's completely fine. And I'm going to click Record. Fantastic. Now I'm following on from that. I'm doing exercise 4.4. I'm going to go and find the Wicking Uniforms order. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to look at all purchases, and I can see there is a Wicking Uniforms order here. See, that says order, so I could have just gone to orders and had a look at that. The Wicking Uniform order, which is sitting there, I'm going to convert it into a bill, so I've selected it. I'm going to change to bill. That changed it to a bill, and I'm going to process a payment against it. So I've changed it to a bill. I'm going to change it to a bill and then record it. Clicking no there. And I'm going to go cancel, go back into the actual bill. Here I'm at the bill for $100, and I'm going to select Pay Bills. And the check is going to be dated 15th of the 11th. That's correct up there. $100, and I'm not going to see how it says Group with Electronic Payments. Change it to back into the bank account. Okay, change it back into the bank account. And I'm going to click Record. Okay, so that Wicking Uniforms has been paid, and that was paid by the bank account. Now I'm going to pay another one. This will be for the office stationery supplier for $500. But this one I'm going to pay electronically. So I'm going to look at orders. I'll see if I've got anything for office stationery. I don't. So enter a bill for office stationery supplier for $500. Okay, so I'm just going to enter a new one. Office stationery suppliers, and I'm going to tab through, and it's for $500, so I'm going to put in $500 there, $500, and it should be dated 12th of the 11th. Yep, it came up actually on the correct date. That's all fine. So that was really simple. I just have to record it. I record it before it's paid. And I'm now going to cancel out. I can cancel out, or I could go and have a look at the register. And there it is there, office stationery supplier. and I'm going to click Pay. So I can't see the Pay button. Notice I can't see the Pay button, but if I click on Open Bills, I can see the Pay button. So I'm going to pop down to Office Stationery Supplier and click on Pay Bills. And the date for paying the bill will be the 15th. Brilliant. I don't know why it's coming up with the correct dates all the time. And we're going to group that with electronic payments. So this is going to be grouped with electronic payments. So I'm going to click on Record. Fantastic, and I've done that. So on day 2, we worked through the procedure for setting up electronic payments in the Banking Command Center. You need to set up the bank account details in the payment account and enter the payment details of the supplier. So what we have done, just to quickly remind you, if I cancel out of that, close out of that, in the accounts, account list, ANZ, so this is my bank account, and I have my bank account details here, and I'll have my direct, but that might not be correct, okay? So I just put in dummy data there. Clicking on OK. And then also what I would have is over here on my card file, I had card list, and then office suppliers. I'd have their payment details here. I'd need to have their payment details here to do it electronically. Okay? So I'm going to go cancel, close, and that's reminding you what we did on day 2. Purchases. And here is my Prepare Electronics window. If I click on that, and I have both of them sitting here coming out of the ANZ, and what I would do is select them, all of them, choose the date, put in the reference, put in the payment number, and okay, so it wants me to, I've selected the Pay From Account window. The balance field shows the current balances of the bank account, so you can see up there the current balances of the bank account. Change the date. It wants me to change the date to the 24th of the 11th, 24th of the 11th, and select payment by field, select spend money. So up here I can choose spend money. There's nothing there, and a list of open payments will appear or disappear. So go back to the pay bills. We're just choosing the pay bills at this time. Now go to the right hand side and tick the check boxes like I've done over here. This will select all listed open payments. Note that at the bottom here it says number of payments included, and we've got 2 included, and the total payment amounts. So for the purpose of this exercise, we are creating a bank file. So what we would do is we would actually come up here and click on bank file. However, the banking information is incomplete and we need to enter it to complete the transaction. So when the information window opens up, click OK. So click on the bank file, and it says banking information for Panda Cleaning, so that is that guy there, is incomplete. We need to enter some information. So click OK, and it popped up and it's gone to Panda Cleaning. So I'm just going to type in, this is just some dummy data, 11111, tab through, 1111111111. Then I'm going to put in Panda Cleaning Services. And then in the statement text, Green Apple Gym. And I'm going to click OK for that one. And the other one I think is Office Stationery Supplier. So if I click on bank file again, it'll click OK, and it'll take me to Office Stationery Supplier. So it takes you directly to the ones that need to be completed, which is handy. Office Stationery, it's spelt with an E like envelope. And the statement text is Green Apple Gym. Green Apple Gym. Okay, and also if I click OK on that, it also highlighted that you put the bank code in for the ANZ as being, so I'll pop back, I put the bank code in before, so lists, accounts, banking, it wanted me to put in ANZ there, and then it wanted me to put in direct user ID of 100. So this is information you actually get from your bank account. You have to ask your bank account about this, and you have to ask them about creating the bank file, but really great way to save time doing it this way. Click OK, click Close, I'm here, I've entered all the data, and I'm going to click on Bank File. The transaction was recorded before the bank file is created. Hurrah, click OK. Desktop, and I'm going to call it anz.aba. Click Save. Fantastic. So what we've done is we've created that bank transaction and we've saved that bank file. That bank file will need to be uploaded into our bank account for processing, and that will depend on how you go about processing within your own bank. Now I'm going to close out of here, and we've almost completed this section. What we're going to do is look at printing checks. If we come to the Purchase Command Center and click on Print Checks, we have the option here to print checks, and if you click on Advanced Filters, you can select the check account it's going to come from, the number of the check in the printer, what check types, the dated from, how they're going to be fed through, and you can also go through and customize the check printing form and the alignment form. Okay, so that was printing checks. You also have the option to print or email remittance advices. So over here on the left-hand side, you have the option print, email, remittance advices. This is an acknowledgement that you've actually made the payment. Click here, and this pops up, and you have the options to be printed or to be emailed. And for some reason, I wonder why they're inactive. Not sure why that is. Oh, because maybe they don't have an address in there. I'm not sure why that is. But anyway, you can print them off from here, or if they had the option, so if this particular one, if I went in on that one and it had to be emailed, clicked OK, it would actually be sitting there in the email option, and I could email it directly from MYOB. Okay, and so you will have the option when you're actually looking at them. You may not have noticed you've got remittance, to be printed, to be emailed, to be printed and emailed, or already printed and sent. So once everything's happened, it will all just automatically go from to be emailed to already printed or sent. Okay? You can have a go at emailing that remittance advice to yourself if you want to. So I'm going to cancel on that. And what we now want to look at is we're looking at page 155, and we want to look at a purchase reconciliation. So pop over here to Accounts, pop into the Company Data Auditor, and I want you to move to Transaction Review, the third tab down. And let's have a look at the dates from 1st of the 7th, 2011 to 30th of the 6th, 2012. And what we're going to do is run a review. Now, I don't believe we'll have any issues here. Oh, okay, we've got an issue. And what that's going to highlight is whether there's a question mark means there may be an issue with the linked payables account. A tick means, according to MYOB, the data is correct. So I'm going to click on Display there. And what that's saying to me is they've got an out of balance amount of $300. The total amount outstanding is $720. The linked payables account balance is $420. So that could be due to a dating issue. That will be due to one of those 300. So let me have a look at that. So if I look at that and go into Command Center Purchases, purchase register, if I look at quotes, if I look at orders, if I look at open bills, close bills, so the 300, so that 300 looks closed on 15th of the 11th, and then I've got that open bill of 720. I'm promised on the 12th of the 11th, but that's sitting there as an open bill, so not exactly sure what that is, but it seems to be that 300 amount's causing a problem. Let's have a look. Close down, accounts, account list, liability. My current liability is $720, and that's correct. Oh, I wonder if that's causing my problem. Yep, okay. And then I want to look at what is my accounts receivable. So accounts payable, sorry. So if I click on my reports, purchases, payables, age payable summary, display, my age payables is 720, so that is okay. It does reconcile the two there. So that sometimes it pops up because of a timing issue, so that possibly is why that has popped up anyway. So in fact, that did allow me to, if I actually put in there 2014, run report, no information to run it on. So what that's saying is that it's actually sorted it out as per that date. So I might have tagged in an older date when I did a transaction there. So I'll have to go through and check that. But that's the purchase reconciliation there. If I go into purchases, purchase register. Yeah, I can't think of 2011, 2011. It's like it's tagged up an old date that I put in. Look at that. There it is. That's the reason why. I put in there 29th of the 10th, 2012, and that should be 2011. Brilliant. So if I click OK on that, click No to that, close. So you perhaps caught me doing that when I did that. Accounts, company data auditor, and I'm going to run the review again, and there's no problem there. So that's sensational. There's no problem. I just put in a wrong date there when I did that. Okay, so that's the purchase reconciliation, and essentially the purchase reconciliation was comparing the trade creditors to the accounts payable. Now we'll also take a time, we'll go and have a look at the payables, which we did just then as well. So I'm going to close out of this, I'm closing out of that, and I'm going to look at my payables. I can click on reports, purchases, payables, age payables detail, and this gives me detail of the payables in this business, which is that 720 which we looked at before. But you would come here and see all your payables here, who you owed money to, and the aging of it. So whether it's 90 days overdue or 60 days overdue, etc. So sometimes when you're looking at these training situations, they don't look. Sometimes when you're looking at them, because of the dating, they sometimes look a bit skew. If that's what you've got to do, unfortunately. So I've just got one more thing to show you. I'm going to close that down, close that report down. Okay, cancel out of there. And I just want to show you, because we're thinking about purchasing, it's very important to be aware of budgeting when you're purchasing. And I'm going to click on the accounts list, click on the expense, click on telephone expense. Just going to hover into that, and you can see at the top left here, if you click on budgets, this is where I can actually access budgets in MYOB, and I can type in here $200 in the July column, and I have the option to copy that amount to following months. $200, copy that to following months. So I'm not spending a lot of time on budgets, but it is really important for you to be aware of budgets. And when it comes to MYOB, the book goes on to explain, to talk about actually planning your expenditure, being really aware of how you're going to be spending money in your business, assessing the return on your investment, comparison shopping, if you're a small business or a micro business, be really accountable for how much you're spending. Confer with someone about what you're spending. And when you're also spending, think outside of the box. So being aware of other opportunities, and you don't necessarily need to spend on things that you think that you need to spend on. Okay, so thank you so much. Oh, I think I lost your screen then. No, okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to get that screen up for you. So thank you very much. That just shut down, didn't it? That didn't look very good. So I'll just pop back to this screen here. Thank you very much. You've listened to Purchase Command Center. That's day 4 of Learn MYOB in 7 days. And tomorrow we'll move on to day 5, which is the Inventory Command Center.